To join in the Rugby League conversation, go to rlfans.com/forums and sign up today. Hello everyone, my name is Rob, welcome to Kinetic Rugby League and welcome to the Super League Review Round 2. In this video I'm going to be showing you highlights and talking about statistics from the 6 matches from the latest round of Super League. So without further ado, let's get started. The games we'll be looking at today include Salford Red Devils vs Hull Kingston Rovers, Huddersfield Giants vs Warrington Wolves, Leeds Rhinos vs Hull FC, Wigan Warriors vs Wakefield Trinity, Catalans Dragons vs Leigh Leopards, and Castleford Tigers vs St Helens. Kicking things off with Salford Red Devils at home versus Hull Kingston Rovers.
Short pass from Ackers, Ormontroyd, uprooted by Su. Good defence that time. The ball back with Croft. On the last, little kick from Sneed. No, they're running it! They're running it! And Seo, I think, has got that ball down, or has he? Marcus Griffiths. I thought he was going to go to the screen, then awards the try.
Not played at last.
Still on the last. Abdul, crossfield kick. Ryan will challenge for it. The ball is batted down. Did Ryan get that down in time? It was Burgess who tried to deal with it. He could only put it down invitingly for Ethan Ryan. And did Ryan get the try? The referee Marcus Griffiths reckons so. What about Ben Thaler, the video ref?
Collected, is in the field of play, sees feet clearly, falls it there. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
And they're on the back foot again. Salford. Little kick from Abdul. Oh, lovely kick from Abdul. Lovely try from Frankie Holton. Holton finished it off, but Jordan Abdul worked his magic again. Ackers. Cross the field they go with Briley. Briley on to Sneed. Sneed, on it comes, and the try is scored by Dion Cross. And that's a great response. Abdul's pass, out it comes, and Sam Woods does get the try.
Hold, push it to the side, go on, play on, 5.
Abdul, another tall kick, and Briley has lost it, and it could be a try for Woods. Woods picks up the pieces, and surely that settles this game now. Another piece of Abdul magic, heading for a famous win here at Salford once again.
So starting off with the losing team, Salford Red Devils, they had 49% possession, 2 tries, 1 conversion, 5 turnovers and 4 penalties conceded. Their try scorers included Ken Seo and Dion Cross, and their goals came from Mark Sneed with 1. Their spine included Ryan Briley, Brodie Croft, Mark Sneed and Andy Ackers, and their top stats they had Tim Laffey with 157 metres, Joe Burgess with 9 metres per carry, Tim Laffey with 9 tackle busts, and Sam Stone with 40 tackles. Quick note on the Devils, or the Red Devils I should say, it looked somewhat similar to last week. They still give off the impression that they're dangerous with the ball, they still play with a lot of pace, a lot of intensity. I think it's just about putting in a complete performance and not allowing better teams to get through them as quickly. I think they're already starting off on a pretty solid foundation with how they left things off last season. I think they'll be okay. I think this was just one of those games where Hull KR have a lot of confidence and they're playing well at the minute, but the Red Devils will come good. So nothing to worry about with this one. They still played well. But yeah, Hull KR were just better. Now moving on to the Hull Kingston Rovers, they had 51% possession, 4 tries, 4 conversions, 9 turnovers, and 2 penalties conceded. Their try scorers were Sam Wood with 2, Frankie Holton, and Ethan Ryan. Their goals came from Will Dagger, who had 4. The spine consisted of Will Dagger, Mikey Lewis, Jordan Abdul, and Matt Parcell. Based on statistics, I'm going to give man of the match to Sam Wood. He had 132 metres, which was second best for Hull Kingston Rovers, 21 carries, second best, 4 tackle busts, tied first, and 2 tries on top of that as well. What I'm liking with Hull Kingston Rovers at the minute is they don't, just on how they don't look particularly quick, when they have the ball. They from the ruck, yes, they do. From dummy half, they look quick, and through the midfield, they make good meters. But when they start their attacking plays, it looks more execution based than pace based, if that makes sense. So it doesn't look like they're moving very quickly, but everything's just timed perfectly. And that's how it seems to kind of be going for Hull Kingston Rovers at the minute. Defensively, they've been fairly solid. They come up against two amazing attacking teams from last season. I think Wigan were third best last season and Salford were second best last season. So to beat those teams, to be able to outscore them and hold them to fairly respectable points, then they should be very, very happy with their defensive effort. I don't think too many people are talking about that, to be honest, but I like what Hull KR is doing. They look very professional. They look very confident as well. They're playing some good rugby at the minute, so it's good to see it from them. Next up, we have Huddersfield Giants at home versus Warrington Wolves. Starting with the losing team, Huddersfield Giants, they had 49% possession, 3 tries, 2 conversions, 0 turnovers, and 4 penalties conceded. Their try scorers were Kevin Nagama, Will Price, and Joe Greenwood, and their goals came from Will Price, who had 2. Their spine consisted of Tui Lolohea, Will Price, Theo Farge, and Nathan Peets. Top stats, Essen Masters has 270 metres, Kevin Nagama had 12 metres per carry, Lolohea and Price both had 6 tackle busts, and Nathan Peets had 57 tackles against Warrington Wolves. On paper, the spine of Lolohea, Price, Farge, and Peets is quality. Absolute Super League quality. What I will put it down to, now they scored 16 points, so not too bad, but 2 of those tries came in the last 5 minutes. So for the first 70 minutes, really, they were struggling to do any significant damage. But I guess you could say, I believe their preseason has been a little underwhelming. I think they played the Dewsbury Rams or something like that, and maybe one other Championship or League One team, and that's all they've had. So they've not really been able to really put their squad to the test. This is a big opening game for them. You know, Warrington Wolves off the back of a big win last week. They were full of confidence going into this. So I wouldn't be too concerned. They have an incredible squad. It might take them time to get to where they want to be. They're a week behind, basically. You could say Saints were, but they were playing Penrith Panthers last week, so it's a bit of a bigger warm-up game, let's say. But yeah, I think the Huddersfield Giants will be fine. It wasn't particularly impressive from them, but they've got top players that can certainly do some damage throughout the season, so we'll see how they progress later on. Moving on to the Warrington Wolves, they had 51% possession, 4 tries, 4 conversions, 1 penalty kick, 3 turnovers, and 3 penalties conceded. Their try scorers included Peter Matautia, Matty Ashton with 2, and James Harrison. Goals all came from Stephen Ratchford, who had 5. Their spine included Matt Duffy, George Williams, Josh Drinkwater, and Darryl Clark. Man of the match for me, based on stats, is going to go to Matty Ashton. He had 247 metres, first for Warrington, 14 metres per carry, also first for Warrington, 4 tackle busts, which was tied second, and 2 tries on top of it as well. The honourable mention, I'm going to give that to Paul Vaughan. Because if you look at his stats, he had 178 metres, which was second best, 10 metres per carry, second best, 6 tackle busts, which was best, and 32 tackles, which was tied second. So, honourable mention, definitely Paul Vaughan. The thing that, edges it for me to Matty Ashton is the 2 tries, and the fact that they're not just easy finishes in the corner with loads of time and space. He's actually had to work for them, so the interception, then having to run 90 metres down the field, and then also the second try having to skip past McGilvery and faking past Lalahay in a one-on-one. He actually had to put in work for those tries. So I'm going to edge it towards Matty Ashton. The Wolves will be disappointed with conceding 2 tries late on in the game. Defence was really solid for the most part, and they'll be very happy with that. What it seemed to me is that the attacking structures that they had in place were a lot more effective. I mentioned last week in my Super League review for the home game against Leeds is that what they were trying to produce in their attacking structure didn't really come to fruition that cleanly or that effectively. It was when the kind of chaotic moments started and then they played off the cuff that Leeds' defence kind of got out of shape. But in this game, it looked like the attacking structure that they tried to employ really worked for them this time. And you saw that with Matty Ashton's first try especially, trying to spread the ball around. But they definitely looked a lot more clinical in attack, better in defence, disappointed with the 2 tries at the end, like I said, but a fantastic start for Warrington Wolves. Next up, we have Leeds Rhinos at home versus Hull FC.
Surrender. Stand. Tackle 3. Go. Ben McNamara. Here is Jake Clifford. Clifford, lovely hand. Lovely first try of the night.
Tangles up perfectly legally a couple of defenders.
Cam Smith thought about giving the ball. Went himself. Gets the try. Leeds hit back. Ben McNamara. Chris Satai, and Satai spots an opening.
Still 4.
And he's able to make the tackle, he's able to offload and able to give the pass, which allows Liam Sutcliffe to celebrate a try. Here's Kane Evans going round the outside, a little flick from him, and they keep the ball alive. Lane across the field, signalling players to run, and Griffin does just that. Swift in support, Swift's got the legs, Swift has got the pace, and has got the try, and Hull have gone from one end of the field. And we asked whether Hull's defence would be examined. Here is Sangari with a strong run, lovely offload, leaving under the sticks. Holroyd with the charge, and Holroyd is tackled just short of the line. Danny Houghton critically down low to take his ankles. Lehman gets the pass away, Caesar over the top, and it's David Fusitua with the try. Against a Leeds defence that is probably tiring now. Short pass, Scott Taylor! Scott Taylor has scored the try that has put Hull FC back in front.
It's a great finish.
Starting off with the losing team, which was Leeds Rhinos, they had 47% possession, 3 tries, 3 conversions, 12 turnovers, and 4 penalties conceded. Try scorers included David Fusitua, Cruz Leeming, and Cameron Smith, and their goals came from Reece Martin, who had 3. Their spine consisted of Richie Myler, Blake Austin, Aidan Caesar, and Cruz Leeming. Top stats, David Fusitua had 140 metres, Nenny McDonald had 12 metres per carry, David Fusitua had 7 tackle busts, and Leeming and Smith both shared 37 tackles each. The Rhinos, you could definitely say it was a much more improved performance. They were definitely knackered towards the end of the game, and that cost them the try at the end. I have something to say on that in a second, but On the positive side of things, they scored more points than they did last week and conceded less than they did. That is progress. That's noticeable progress. And against a team that is looking really strong right now. I keep talking about the spine, but Hull's spine is really impressive. So it's a positive way. That's the best positive to look at is you score more points, you concede less. And it's the next best thing after winning the game. Or you could say drawing the game. But to at least see improvements and to be competitive in the following game against a team that's looking really strong right now is the most important thing for them. And hopefully next week they can build onto a win. What I was going to say in regard to the winning try for Hull FC, I can't remember who it was that made the tackle on Scott Taylor, but you had Holroyd next to the tackle just doing little side steps. And then on the opposite side, you had Blake Austin next to the tackle doing little side steps, not getting involved in the tackle. Whether Austin thought that the ball was going to potentially be offloaded to the next man, you could make that argument, but there was just a complete lack of effort with, 5, 6, 7 minutes to go, trying to hold a 2-point lead or something like that, to just not get involved at all. It's a bit disappointing, really. But, as I said, focusing on the positives, more points scored, less points conceded, baby steps for Leeds Rhinos right now, and we'll see if they can turn it into a win next week. Moving on to Hull FC, they had 53% possession, 4 tries, 3 conversions, 13 turnovers, and 3 penalties conceded. Their try scorers were Scott Taylor, Adam Swift, Liam Sutcliffe, and Cameron Scott, and their goals, came from Jake Clifford with 3 of them. Their spine included Tex Hoy, Ben McNamara, Jake Clifford, and Brad Dwyer. Man of the match for me, I'm going to give it to Liam Sutcliffe. The honourable mention is very close, but I'm going to give it to Liam Sutcliffe. He had 124 metres, which was third, 8 metres per carry, which is tied third, 3 tackle busts, also tied third, and 1 try on top of that as well. The honourable mention, I'm going to give it to Josh Griffin. He had 162 metres, which was first, 13 metres per carry, also first, 26 tackles, tied fourth, and 4 tackle busts, which was tied second, and an assist on top of that as well. So I easily could have given man of the match to Josh Griffin, but I'm going to edge it towards Liam Sutcliffe. Hull FC are looking really impressive right now. Again, the spine, I like what they're doing. Jake Clifford looks in complete and utter control of that attacking team, and as soon as Jake Truman comes back in, they could be even more dangerous than they are. Really impressed with what Ben McNamara is doing. While he's got this opportunity to try and maybe cement a position in this squad, he's really taking it in his stride at the minute and doing a fantastic job. Tex Hoy popping up here and there, being effective and creative, and Brad Dwyer again showing lots of energy and enthusiasm to run at the defence and try and create things and keep them guessing. So I'm liking what Hull FC is doing, and let's see if they can continue this kind of form for the rest of the season. Next up, we have Wigan Warriors at home versus Wakefield Trinity. Starting things off with the losing team, Wakefield Trinity. Unfortunately, some of the main general stats weren't available on the website that I normally use, but the spine included Leigh Gaskell, Samisoni Langi, Mason Lino, and Morgan Smith. Top stats included Lewis Murphy with 74 metres, Kevin Proctor with 6 metres per carry, Mason Lino with 5 tackle busts, and Jay Pitts with 46 tackles. Now, what I will say on Wakefield Trinity, which is so demoralising, because a couple of years ago I think they finished 5th and they looked like they were starting to build, starting to improve, and then year after year just got worse and worse and worse. And they lost Jacob Miller, who was a huge miss. But what I will say, regardless of who you have on your team, and maybe you don't have the quality players that you like, maybe you can't afford the quality players that you'd like, but as a bare minimum, there's got to be some effort and enthusiasm to defend with some speed and aggression. Surely that's an acceptable minimum, which I didn't really see that from Wakefield. Now, granted, you're coming up against Wigan, who have an abundance of pace throughout their backs, but you need to match that with some energy and enthusiasm, which they showed basically none of. So as much as you might struggle to put points on the board, you're at least going to get moments where you get up the field. Maybe you can force a penalty here or there, take 2. Maybe you can get a one-off try in each half. And then you show some enthusiasm and maybe hold teams off from putting 60 points past you. So I understand Wigan are a fantastic team, but you've got to show more effort than what you're putting in. The quality might not be there, but you're professional rugby players. There's got to be some effort. And that's all I can really say on Wakefield. Moving on to Wigan Warriors, their try scorers included Cade Cust, Bevan French with 2, Harry Smith, Sam Powell, Liam Marshall with 4, Jake Field, Liam Farrell, and Harry Smith. Their goals all came from Harry Smith, who had 8. Their spine included Jay Field, Cade Cust, Harry Smith, and Sam Powell. Man of the match, I'm going to give it to Liam Marshall. He had 140 metres, which was second for Wigan, 10 metres per carry, which was tied 4th, 2 tackle busts, which was tied 3rd, and 4 tries. It's 4 tries. You can't really look too far past that for your man of the match. But an honourable mention is going to go to Liam Farrell, who had 143 metres, which was first, 10 metres per carry, tied 4th, 4 tackle busts, which was tied 1st, 25 tackles, which was 2nd, and a try on top of it as well. So a really solid game from him. What I'm liking about Wigan is from week 1 and week 2, their pace and intensity, their energy looks the same. So I don't think they were that much different to last week. But the 2 things that I attribute to Wigan not putting more points on the board was their timings and accuracy. It just seemed off last week. But they must have worked on it and definitely got it right this week. Clearly, from 60-0. So defensively, really solid performance, not to let any points in. Really strong from them. Liking what I'm seeing from Wigan. Extremely dangerous team. And we'll see if they can continue this kind of form next week. But, hopefully Wakefield can, strengthen some things up. And we'll see if Wigan can push on from here. Next up, we have Catalans Dragons at home versus Leigh Leopards. Starting with Leigh Leopards, their try scorer was Joe Wardle, and they had a goal from Ben Reynolds. Their spine included Gareth O'Brien, Ben Reynolds, Lachlan Lamb, and Aaron Smith. For top stats, they had Josh Charnley with the most metres, 143. Aaron Smith had 13 metres per carry, Lachlan Lamb had 4 tackle busts, and Joe Wardle had 47 tackles. They didn't look particularly convincing in this game, Leigh. They weren't exactly out of the game. You know, it was a low scoreline. For a while, score-wise, they were still in the game, but I just never got the impression that they were going to get anything from it, which is disappointing. But one thing that doesn't help is the spine is a little bit out of shape at the minute. And for a team like Leigh Leopards, they have a decent starting 13, but the depth may be slightly lacking. So they can't really afford to have players missing in the spine. Gareth O'Brien had to move from 6 to 1. Zach Hardacre moved into the centre position, and Ben Reynolds started at number 6. And Edwin Ipape wasn't part of the squad. So as soon as you can get Zach Hardacre back into fullback, O'Brien and Lamb together in the halves, and Edwin Ipape at hooker, you get your full spine, get them playing consistently for a couple of weeks. You can start to really build the kind of rugby that you want to be playing. So disappointing for them, but I'm not going to be overly harsh until they get their full spine together. And at that point, I think they'll be playing pretty well, but I won't judge them too harshly until that comes together. Moving on to the Catalans Dragons, their try scorers included Mikael Gudemon and Tom Johnston. Their goals came from Artur Morg, who had 3. Their spine consisted of Artur Morg, Sam Tompkins, Cesar Rouge, and Michael McAlorum. Man of the match, I'm going to give it to Mikael Gudemon. He had 75 metres, which was only 11th best, but 6 metres per carry, tied 4th. 3 tackle busts, tied 3rd, and 40 tackles, which was 1st for the Dragons. He also had a try on top of it as well. The honourable mention, I'm going to give it to Roman Navarrete. Now, he has some really impressive stats here. He had 130 metres, 3rd, 8 metres per carry, tied 2nd, 5 tackle busts, 2nd, 34 tackles, 4th, and a clean break on top of it as well. One of my concerns for the Dragons going into the season was that the forward pack might not be that strong. But so far, the first 2 weeks, they've looked pretty solid, and they've looked capable of going toe-to-toe with the teams that they come up against so far. So we'll see how they manage that for the rest of the season. But I'm particularly liking the connections that they're making, Cesar Rouge especially, and Artur Morg. I'm quite liking how he's popping up and coming up with some good assists. He had a great pass to Tom Johnston for his try. But yeah, I think they're still missing May and Pearce. And once they get back into the halves, you never know how much more effective they could be. But the Dragons don't seem to be too... anything too special at the minute. Of course, you need to win games, and they come up against 2 teams that may be right near the bottom of Super League come the end of the season. But most important thing is they're getting wins, and they're looking somewhat clinical and quick when they move the ball around. So it might be a bit of an up and down season. I would guess it might be similar to Castleford Tigers from last year. Beating teams that they should beat, maybe, but not being able to compete with the best in Super League. But we'll see how it goes for them, and it's a pretty good start. Finally, we have the Castleford Tigers at home versus St Helens.
Long pass, the long pass.
Well, they've got numbers if they go over the top. Miller, can he get it away to Evans? He does. Now they'll move it wide. And a chance down the far touchline. And Castleford are racing away now. Evans on the inside. He's dropped it. Niall Evans has just dropped a certain try for Castleford. One. Flick pass inside to Dodd. Dodd going. Gets past the gets to the fullback who brings him down. 8 metres away. Saints now. Here's Lomax. Short pass. Welby. He's over. St Helens lead. The champions, despite being under the pump early on. Wellesby comes down the short side. Gets it now. Gets it away to Hurrell. Hurrell bumps off Mamo. Rob does enough, but the offload there. Great bounce as well. Lomax is away. Lomax over halfway, looking to use the runners. He's gone through. Lomax has got support. T. Ritson for the corner, and Ritson will score his first Super League try for the course today. Here now is Wigan, gets it to Miller. Miller feigns to get the ball out of his hands, gets it away. Here now is Broadbent going for the corner. Broadbent, cross inside. Oh, was he taken high there? Oh, look at this. What happened now? Oh, that's high.
Yeah.
And that is a problem for St Helens.
In my opinion,
let's hear from the officials.
Tackle from Wellsby. And in my opinion, he would have scored the try but for that foul play. So I'm going to give a penalty try. Okay, mate? Yeah.
He has not gone to the screen here. Liam Moore is that confident that this would have been a try. He's given a penalty try. Holding on. They're starting to blow. Can they survive one more? Wellsby stabs it through, and here he is! The big front rower, Alex Walmsley. There'll be some good things for Lee Radford to take out of this, despite the result. As Walmsley's going again! He's unstoppable! What a score from Alex Walmsley! Brought on with 25 minutes. Here comes Saints again. Oh, interception, and Faraimo is away. Has he got the pace though? They're chasing him back. Faraimo looking to add to his double last week. Will score. Faraimo is very close. They just do want to check this. It was an intercept.
Okay, it's simultaneous, so I'm happy I've viewed the angles, I've made my decision.
Has Beretta Faraimo not scored? How on earth has he?
Starting with the Castleford Tigers, they had 45% possession, 1 penalty try, 1 conversion, 9 turnovers and 2 penalties conceded. Their penalty try was for Jack Broadbent and their goal came from Gareth Widdop. Their spine included Niall Evalds, Gareth Widdop, Jacob Miller and Paul McShane. Top stats, they had Jake Mamo with 208 metres. Mamo also had 14 metres per carry. Faraimo and Mustafa had 7 tackle breaks each, and Muiz Mustafa had 40 tackles. Not too many negatives to say on Castleford, really. Just the one criticism would be you've got to finish your chances. But in contrast to that, at least they created chances, which was good. They looked like they were able to open up St Helens a couple times, or at least threaten to put a few tries in. But at the start, when they went at St Helens, I think it was the opening set where they broke through down the left-hand side with Jake Mamo, I was really impressed with that and their willingness to, take the fight to them and not just sort of settle into the game, which is what Saints really want to happen. They want to just settle into the game, and they know that typically on paper they're going to be a better team, and they'll just pick you off as the minutes go through. So I like the Tigers' intensity and their energy. If they can keep that going for next week and keep it going week in, week out, the spine that they've got is really impressive. And, they'll build on their performances week after week. They have a really tough opening start, the toughest one of all Super League clubs, basically on the average league position that they play. They play 4 teams from the top 5 last season. So, going to be a tough start, but it's definitely, I guess it's what they need. They have an impressive spine and they're going to get tested. But hopefully soon they can start picking up some wins. But I would not worry about them just yet if you're a Tigers fan. Moving on to St Helens, they had 55% possession, 4 tries, 4 conversions, 6 turnovers and 5 penalties conceded. Try scorers included Alex Walmsley with 2, T. Ritson and Jack Wellsby. Goals came from Johnny Lomax and Mark Percival had 3. The spine included Jack Wellsby, Johnny Lomax, Lewis Dodd and Joey Lussick. Man of the match is going to go to Alex Walmsley, without a doubt. 163 metres, third best. 9 metres per carry, also third best. 9 tackle busts, best for St Helens. 1 clean break and 2 tries on top of it as well. Really impressive as per usual. Alex Walmsley is an absolute tank. Honourable mention is going to go to James Bell. He had 184 metres, which was second best for Saints. 10 metres per carry, second best for Saints. 6 tackle busts, third best. 23 tackles, fifth best. And 3 offloads, which was best for Saints. He looked really lively. And I quite liked him for Scotland in the World Cup last year. So, it's nice to see, I believe, how old is he? He's like 23 or 24. Pretty sure he's a young player, I think. Voice of God here. James Bell is 28 years old. Now that I've done some actual research. So I will continue to say he's young, just so any 50 or 60 year olds don't get upset that I think a 28-year-old is old. And also for anyone approaching 30 that's a bit concerned about it, we'll say he's young. So he's 28 years young, just to clarify. In terms of Saints' performance, it wasn't like overly amazing, but coming off the back of a really intense game against Penrith Panthers last week, maybe a lot of wins been taken out of them, maybe on a bit of a mental come down at this point, but they're professionals, solid defensively. Aside from a couple times they look like they could have been opened up, but they've got some young, inexperienced wingers at the minute. But over time, they'll improve. They'll get used to the pace of the game, and they'll get better and better week in, week out. But yeah, strong start for St Helens. Doesn't look like there's going to be any real fatigue in the way that maybe Leeds Rhinos and Huddersfield Giants might have to start things off. But really strong start. And we'll see how they get on next week. Just before I wrap things up here, I'll just quickly recap the Super League table as it stands. In 12th place, Wakefield Trinity. 11th place, Leeds Rhinos. 10th place, Castleford Tigers. 9th, Leigh Leopards. 8th, Huddersfield Giants. 7th, Salford Red Devils. 6th, St Helens. 5th, Wigan Warriors. 4th, Hull FC. 3rd, Catalans Dragons. 2nd, Kingston Rovers. And in 1st place, Warrington Wolves. So that's going to be it for this video. If you have any thoughts on any of the matches from the latest round of Super League, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with new content. You can also follow the social media accounts in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.